Hey y'all, welcome into the channel. How are you guys doing today? So it's late night, but it'll be early morning when you see this video. So what's going on right now is a lot of flooding is happening. I have some video I want to share with you guys, but first let's get into this news article. I hope you are having a great week so far. Definitely hit that like button and leave your comments down below. So there's flooding damage from the latest round of storms that have left 21 people dead, estimated at a staggering $90 billion is the cost. So the cost of a devastating spring storm system that inundated neighborhoods with floodwaters, spawned twisters, and left at least 21 deceased over the last week has been estimated as much as $90 billion. I wonder, though, if they will even get help with funding being cut so bad from FEMA. The preliminary estimate includes total damage and estimated loss, including past and additional impacts from the rare atmospheric river event. River flooding is expected to continue in the central and southern U.S. this week. A rare atmospheric river continually resupplying a fire hose of deep tropical moisture into the central U.S., combined with series of storms transversing the same area in rapid succession, created the perfect storm, flooding, and devastating tornadoes. They're saying that they are heartbroken, of course, by the loss of life and destruction from this once in a generation storm. Houses and businesses were destroyed by tornadoes. Homes and vehicles were swept away by fast moving floodwaters. Bridges and roadways were washed out or destroyed in some areas. Commerce and business operations were significantly disrupted. Look at this. Wow. So hopefully, I'm hoping that the roads hold up, but they can get food and water into these people to get them the help that they need. They say that there have been nearly 90 reports of tornadoes since April started, with 3 preliminary rated as EF3, the third strongest on the scale of tornado damage, or stronger in Arkansas, Missouri, and Tennessee. AccuWeather meteorologists say the rounds of downpours dumped between 8 to 16 inches of rainfall in many areas and up to 20 inches in some communities. Parts of Missouri got nearly 10 inches, and Western Kentucky saw nearly 16 inches. The northern Kentucky area of the capital city of Frankfurt had all but disappeared, with roofs and treetops punctuating the flood community, just covered. A salon owner says, I think everybody was shocked at how quick the river actually did come up. The Kentucky River, which runs through the heart of the 28,000 person city, crested dangerously close to breaching its flood walls. Officials there expected to remain at major flood stage over the coming days following the almost historic river event. Overnight, the river, it looks like crested water is receding a little bit, says the mayor. But we want to make sure that we're evaluating the situation. We want to make sure that it is safe for people to go back into their homes, and we're doing an assessment right now. I'm pretty sure people are probably not going to be able to go back into their homes, at least not for an extended period of time, because of the mold and stuff that's going to build up quickly, because it's getting hot. A curfew is put in place on Sunday, was extended through Tuesday morning in the interest of public safety. The Frankfurt Police Department warned that significant dangers remain in flood affected zones. And you're going to see people walking through this water. This water has everything in it: sewage, gasoline, other chemicals, everything. Residents were told to conserve water because the city was using reserve tanks. Shelters had room, according to Wilkerson, and cots were set up at the Franklin County High School. Here's another picture. One of the two individuals who died in Kentucky was identified as Gabriel Andrews, 9-year-old boy who was swept away while trying to catch a school bus in Frankfurt. Did they not cancel school? What? The second was a 74-year-old woman who was trapped in her vehicle in Nelson County. She has not been identified. In total, 21 people have died in the storm, including 10 in Tennessee. Kentucky governor said on Monday that the search was ongoing for unidentified individual in McCracken County. 4 days of severe storms have brought devastation to so many communities across the Commonwealth. We've had search and rescue teams working around the clock to support these communities. They say, remember, this event is not over until the water has receded, until the areas that have flooded are fully dry, until we don't have saturated ground that could create mudslides over roads and bridges. This is not over. They say while the deluge had shifted east on Monday, temperatures were expected to plummet and a freeze warning was in effect. Matter of fact, my phone just went off earlier and I'm gonna have to run outside and it's dark. I hate going out there in the dark, but I need to cover up my strawberries. Another freeze may occur tomorrow night, the National Weather Service in Louisville said. My prayers definitely go out to all of these people. Recovery is going to take a long time. Recovery took a long time for us South Carolinians. When I lived in South Carolina and we had that 1,000-year flood or whatever we had, took a long time. Traffic was horrible because they had to reroute because of road closures, bridge closures, roads washed away. I mean, it just unbelievable devastation. AccuWeather noted that similar events are becoming more frequent due to climate change. Climate change is also making rainstorms more intense. It's been raining here. It started yesterday and it rained all day today. And I tell you, my backyard is very saturated, very, very saturated. Look at that house. They're estimating that this extreme weather and natural disasters in the United States so far this year have caused a staggering $344 billion to $382 billion in total damage and economic loss. And this is why a lot of insurance companies are kind of pulling back from that part of insurance. Hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, flooding, other extreme weather events caused more than $500 billion in total damage and economic loss across the U.S. last year. Let's remember, we're just getting started. There's no doubt that the frequency and severity of extreme weather in America is escalating. More people, businesses, and communities are feeling the direct impact, which are being fueled by a warming climate. So let's go take a look at this video here, and then I have another video that I want to show you guys. This is sadly, this is becoming more frequent. More and more frequent. Let's see, here we go. I'm gonna turn the music part off. So it's saying muddy waters, but we all know it's more than mud in that water. This is the state capital city responded. Well, I see some movement on that bridge there, but you can see how high that water is also. Absolutely insane. Okay, so let's go over to oh, that's not what I was looking for. Hold on. Every time I think I have something together, I don't be having it together. So I apologize for that. I had it on something that was talking about the storms, but now they're talking about Milton. But hold on. Let's see. Pause on that. Let's see, flooding. Hmm. Flooding in Kentucky. So let me share this with you guys. Again, I am sending my prayers to anyone that is affected, that you get the help that you need, because with so many fundings being, you know,
You saw some of the pictures, shocking visuals out of Frankfurt, Kentucky, the state's capital. A large stretch of the city has been flooded. This video was taken just hours ago. Fox Weather's Katie Byrne is just arriving on scene in Frankfurt to give us an update. Katie, I know you just got there, but what have you seen? Have the waters receded at all?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, Ian, because my photographer, he's from this area and he got here way before me. He's been here most of the day. He said the water behind me hasn't receded much at all, which kind of tells you something, because we know that the Kentucky River here crested earlier today. And it's been hours since then without.
I'm sorry. What happened now?
You
Jumping.
saw some of the pictures, shocking visuals out of Frankfurt, Kentucky, the state's capital. A large stretch of the city has been flooded. This video was taken just hours ago. Fox Weather's Katie Byrne is just arriving on scene in Frankfurt to give us an update. Katie, I know you just got there, but what have you seen? Have the waters receded at all?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, Ian, because my photographer, he's from this area and he got here way before me. He's been here most of the day. He said the water behind me hasn't receded much at all, which kind of tells you something, because we know that the Kentucky River here crested earlier today. And it's been hours since then without much receding happening. That's what you're looking at behind me. It crested right around 48 and a half feet. And just to paint a picture for you, this is near record levels, the second highest for this area here. But just a week ago, that water was recorded at 9 feet high. So 9 feet to 48 and a half almost for people who live around this area. And now what you're looking at is the Kentucky River essentially overflowing into the city of Frankfurt. These homes are surrounded by water. And this is really the scene in pretty much every direction that you look. You mentioned that I just arrived here, so I haven't been able to move around too much just yet, but we are just on one street. And when I look in two separate directions here, I'm seeing the same exact scene that you're looking at here in other locations as well. So it does feel like we are surrounded by water, and it's inched in just in every direction coming into the center of town. We've been talking to people about this. They're trying to, figure out when they can get back into their homes. It's pretty quiet downtown right now. We know that kids are on spring break in Frankfurt, and actually the county high school has been turned into a shelter. There's two available for people who live in this area. So that's been repurposed for the time being for people who aren't able to stay at their homes. And tragically, we know just in the last couple hours, the death toll has risen here in the state of Kentucky. A third death reported, a man 27 years old who was actually going to retrieve his boat when he was tragically swept away by floodwaters. So we are going to be monitoring the situation. We know that there was a curfew in effect overnight, and we are also hearing that people are being asked to ration their water usage and just stay away from these flooded roads as crews continue to make sure everything is safe and just monitor what you're seeing. But to your point, Ian, that receding, we're really not seeing much of that happening just yet, which I think is worrisome for people who live in these homes behind me, and also, just looking ahead at the coming days. I know people in Louisville, that's where I flew into, at the airport there, people were talking about how they're not expecting the river there to crest until tomorrow or Wednesday. So it's interesting just seeing how different parts of the state are seeing these rivers crest at different times. And it continues to be a multi-day event impacting people for almost a week at this point. I mean, when you look at when the weather started, it's sunny right now, but this water isn't going anywhere because that water that we got in the last few days is continuing to pour into the rivers, just like Kentucky River. It's coming in from streams and tributaries nearby, keeps flowing into these rivers. And so you're not seeing much of that receding happening, which is a concern for a lot of people as they look at, the damage. They can't really see it just yet because they might not be able to get into their homes, Ian.
Katie, that's always the unsettling.
You can see the water right now where we are standing is about 3 feet deep.
This restaurant owner deliberately filled his riverfront business with fresh water to keep dirty floodwaters out amid widespread flooding in Kentucky.
Okay, take you to the front door here. You can see the stark difference between the inside water and the outside water. And I might even be able to see my foot down here.
Andrew Masterson, co-owner of Captain's Quarters Riverside Grill near Louisville, said that the fresh water will keep floodwaters up to 5 or 6 feet out until the pressure is too much and outside water begins to flow in. Masterson and his staff removed all the kitchen appliances and electronic panels in the restaurant before his crew filled up the interior using sinks, faucets, and a well water pump.
I think we're going to be okay with five more feet. Isn't going to be as devastating as 8 more feet, which is one of the predictions. So hope for the best. Hope for the best.
I have never heard of anyone doing anything like that. That's different. But I wonder, with him doing that, will he be able to use his insurance if he has insurance, or is he just don't care and he just rather do it that way to not destroy all? I've just never seen anybody do that. It's almost like when I went out, my husband and I went out and the kids on a chartered boat to go fishing, and they took us out to where the ocean meets the river that we were in. I had never seen that before. It was so neat how the water just sat up next to each other, like doesn't intermingle, doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I was just like weirded out, but it was a good experience. But I've never seen anybody do their business like that before.
As the Kentucky River kept rising Sunday, this dock did not stand a chance against the strong currents. It crashed into the Capitol Avenue Bridge in Frankfurt, but that wasn't enough to stop it. The swollen river dragged down the dock, ripped it apart, and sent it out the other side. Crews were able to fix a water pipe damaged by the crack, flooding swamped neighborhoods across Frankfurt, and officials closed roads and shut off power and gas in the city. As the Kentucky River kept rising Sunday.
So again, no power, no water, basically, but what you already have, and you need to ration your water. I wouldn't even want to drink water out of a faucet. Even if they said it was okay, I still wouldn't trust it at this point. Like they said, these storms are getting worse and they're getting more frequent. So we all should be doing our preparedness in what we need for our homes. And if you have things in your basement, like I have things in my basement, I also have things upstairs in case the basement gets flooded worse than it did through Hurricane Helene.
Yeah.
There goes our house.
One of the most intense flooding events we've seen in a severe weather event. Nearly 900 reports, and April's just getting started. From Kansas to Pennsylvania, communities are overwhelmed with the amount of rain we've seen. For the first time ever, Little Rock was under a flash flood emergency. Rainfall totals, they topped out over 15 inches in some spots. That's more than 3 months of rain in just 5 days alone. Records shattered in Memphis, Little Rock, Bowling Green, and as you head down towards the Gulf Coast, Mobile, Alabama, more than 3 inches of rain fell in just 2 hours alone. We've already passed the June average for flash floods. Again, it's only April. Stay with Fox Weather as we cover the aftermath of all of this and the next round of rain.
Let that sink in. We've already passed the record for June weather that comes around June this time, and it's just April. What in the world is there to come?
See cars the fast one? Can you see cars? Yeah. If it keeps going higher in those holes,
As the Kentucky River,
Cute.
as the
Let's see. This reminds me of what it looked like in parts of South Carolina. Like you didn't know where the road was unless the sign wasn't covered all the way.
This is Nebraska Task Force 1 on duty 8 hours away from home in flooded northern Arkansas.
Basically everything besides from these trees, none of that water is supposed to be there.
As part of a FEMA team, their job is to help local officials.
The levee we want to check on is right through here.
Brady Papik made sure the levee was holding.
I guess so. Maybe there's a house, it looks like right here.
Then the sheriff's department was concerned about this house. It was clear. This team rolls out with special equipment and training anywhere in the country at a moment's notice.
It mirrors our profession as firefighters. That's what we do. This is just at a big national level.
The extensive flooding spread into nearby states. This house floated down the Kentucky River. In Frankfurt, Kentucky, the water level surpassed 48 feet overnight, challenging the record set in 1978. The rushing waters inundated homes and businesses. The owner of one basement repair service is now the one in need.
I never thought in a million years I'd be the one needing saving.
Over the weekend, severe winds and tornadoes struck other parts of the Southeast, like this twister in northern Mississippi that blew through Blue Springs, battering farms and tearing off the roofs of homes while toppling multiple trees. The powerful storm also prompted tornado warnings in northern Tennessee. This is Nebraska.
Just devastation. That looked like the water plant.
What this building was, or where it came from, was a mystery as it floated down the Kentucky River on Saturday. But it was an undeniable sign of the catastrophic flooding across much of the state. This building was swept away in Franklin County, where the river was expected to crest at a record-breaking 49.5 feet. One official there urged people in evacuation zones to get out, and he said that the next few days would be extremely dangerous.
I'd rather not have that music.
In Kentucky are getting flooded, and mine is one of them. We have one Mexican restaurant in town, and then we have a Dairy Queen, which is right here, that now looks like this. This is all the water inside of it. Since 2021, we have been devastated. Our small town has. We had one massive tornado that came through here. It was an F4. It wiped out 75% of the town. It looked like this afterwards.
Dang.
Then last year, another tornado came through and wiped out a large amount of it as well. Now we're dealing with this. I took this photo last week. This is what it looks like right now. I was standing like right in there. All of this is completely underwater. It's going to continue to rise for the next 2 days. Here's a photo of a 24-hour difference to include some video footage that I took just like 30 minutes ago.
Wow.
Please continue to pray for my town and all of the towns across Kentucky that have been affected by the floods. Thanks.
Yes.
That road is completely underwater. And then whatever this building was that's all that's left of it right now.
I've lived here my whole life. I've never seen water like this. I've seen water in places that you'd never see it before. It's just, it's unbelievable.
Kentucky is under a state of emergency amid widespread and historic flooding that's triggered evacuations and many water rescues.
I've seen homes underwater that have never had water. I don't think people were ready.
That road is completely.
Dawson Springs, Kentucky. Drone footage is crazy. I see a Dollar General truck over there, but I don't think is that a Dollar General? Yeah. They sit up kind of high, so they don't look like they got any damage, but everybody else did. And that trucker is stuck like Chuck. Jeez, is that a gas station? It's crazy because then you see some areas don't even look like they got touched. That's insane. So you got businesses closed, you got schools that are closed. Insane. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna end it there. Let's send our thoughts and our prayers out to those affected by this storm. And let's continue to stock up. Let's continue to prepare, get your backup power, get your emergency food, emergency medications, keep those things in some form of waterproof container. Pray, plan, and prep. I will see you guys in the next video. Definitely hit that like button before you leave. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Over here, we're doing news you can use. We're also doing gardening and homesteading. I have another news channel as well where it's just strictly news. But that one's just kind of starting. So that's why I do news over here still. But once that one picks up, then I'll probably stop doing the news over here. So definitely go subscribe to Tommy Bites TV 2.0. And I have a vlogging channel, which is simply Tommy Bites Life. So they will be linked in the description below. I appreciate your support. Let me know what you think about all of this, and have you experienced this situation ever in your lifetime? or know anyone that has. And do you think these people are going to get all of the help that they need? It was good to see that FEMA had somebody out there doing some rescues or whatever they were doing out there on that water. But it's going to be areas that's probably going to be hard to get to when it comes to getting food and water, clothes, medications, baby diapers, formula, all that stuff in. So prayers out to them, definitely.